In the age of inevitable and overwhelming anxiety, yes, I do find it dramatic, we tend to be longing for tools that can help us relieve stress or simply feel better. One of the tools many of us have heard of or even tried is meditation. There's so many words already said about it, why practicing it is good for you, and that's why in this video I'm gonna share my own story. I'll share my personal journey, difficulties and changes I've seen, all thanks to the practice of mindfulness meditation. I was quite an anxious teenager, but back then I couldn't give a name to the feeling I was experiencing. And to be honest, I think that kids are much more educated about mental health these days. So at one point I started therapy. One of the exercises my therapist gave me was watching my breath for a certain period of time. It was box breathing, a technique where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold it for another 4. Back then I didn't know that it was one of the techniques to calm your mind, but I could already see that working with your attention makes a difference to the way you feel. Eventually, I ended up exploring meditation through some yoga classes and generally the internet, but I still couldn't figure out what meditation was. I did feel the calming effects of a body scan meditation during yoga classes, but nobody actually explained how and why we do it. So what I was doing at home was turning on some relaxing music and just trying to feel something. Later on, I got to rediscover meditation and mindfulness meditation, in particular, thanks to Yongey Mingyu Rinpoche, who is a Buddhist meditation teacher. I believe that many of you have heard of him since he does a very important work of sharing the knowledge of meditation, both secular and traditional, around the world. I think the reason why I felt some sort of connection to his teachings was because he was quite open about his own experience when it comes to dealing with panic attacks, which I was experiencing back then. And the tools and techniques he shared to deal with them actually did help me. He founded an international meditation community called Terga, and I guess I'm lucky enough because we have one of Terga groups in my city where we get to practice together, to share our experience and generally be there for each other. What I feel when I meet with the community of other practitioners is that it's easier to maintain my practice, to go around some obstacles thanks to sharing your experience and difficulties with other practitioners, and simply know that you are not alone. We are there for each other. Besides that, teachings in Terga incorporate certain Buddhist views on the way your mind works. I found getting another perspective on it useful too. Going back to my practice, I also did an MBCT and MBSR. Both of these programs were created by specialists in medicine and psychology who are practitioners themselves. For me, those programs felt like 8-week hygienic processes for my mind because you basically retrain your mind, learn perceiving things differently to improve your mental health. Eventually, I felt that I wanted to learn more about meditation and the way it works. I just love diving into details when it comes to learning a new skill. So after a few years of researching and considering options, I signed up for a mindfulness and meditation teacher program led by cognitive behavioral psychologists and psychotherapists who are practitioners themselves, who were not only exploring the scientific side of meditation, but also its traditional origins. So we studied both scientific and traditional approach, practiced ourselves, and then helped other students to begin their meditation journey. And after completing the course, I realized that the reason why I took it wasn't mainly because I wanted to teach, but it was for my own personal, profound understanding of what's going on when you're meditating, how you should do it the right way, and also what you should do when things get wrong, because sometimes they do. What I've noticed is that people tend to romanticize meditation as a happy space, which leads to a perfectly calm state of mind, which, yes, happens sometimes, but it's not all there is. In reality, there are many difficulties you face when you meditate, and you can end up in a crisis because of intensive or wrong practice, or uncovering something unpleasant you haven't known about yourself before. Such things happen, but that's why I believe that when you learn to meditate, there should be a teacher by your side who can guide you, who can tell you what you should and shouldn't do if you get into situations like that. Sometimes you'll face thoughts and emotions you don't want to have, and there's a thin line between observing them and trying to get rid of them. But you have different emotions, different thoughts, and some of them are not as nice and pleasant, but you have to learn to give space to them too. You cannot say, I want to feel this and I don't want to feel that. It just does not work like that. But at the same time, you get to uncover the beauty behind working with, accepting, and giving space to all of your experience. This leads you to being whole. I had to learn to work with anger, fears, anxiety once again, and it took practice and time to be okay with them. And I'm happy that there's a tool that helps you regain wholeness and teaches you to work with such states too. So what is the type of meditation I do? Generally, it's mindfulness meditation in all its various forms. Mindfulness is a skill, a quality that allows you to be intentionally present and aware of what's happening in the here and now. And mindfulness involves a few key aspects to it, which are being present, acceptance, and non-judgment. Now, mindfulness meditation in its turn helps us develop and cultivate mindfulness. You know, these can be simple practices such as watching your breath, a body scan, observing the sounds around you. But even if we think that they're simple, they hold the potential to teach you to deal with whatever you're experiencing inside and around you. I've discovered so much wisdom behind simply watching the breath. It teaches you the concept of impermanence. It helps you strengthen that mind-body connection. It helps you to calm down if you need to. All thanks to simply watching your breath and developing a certain attitude towards what you're experiencing. The number one reason why I meditate is maintaining my mental health. I can't say that I don't get anxious at times, but my anxiety is not as strong as before, and it does not happen that often. I learned to give space to whatever strong or difficult emotion I'm experiencing instead of being consumed by it. Another thing is that my focus and attention got stronger and more stable. It's much easier to focus on a task without being distracted. You literally learn to direct your attention through practicing. Also, I became more compassionate towards myself and other people around me. There is a meditation called loving kindness or metta in some traditions, and it teaches you to cultivate this kind attitude towards everyone, including yourself. And I'm simply more present in reality, which helps me experience life more profoundly because my attention is here and now. There are many periods when I'm aware of what's happening inside and around me instead of wandering somewhere in my thoughts. You simply notice more details, notice things you haven't seen before. Think of it. It's a simple example. When you drink your morning coffee or matcha, do you notice the taste of your drink? Or you drink it almost automatically without paying attention to it because you're thinking and getting lost in your thoughts. The main highlight for me is that maintaining my mental health helped me change the way I reacted to stressful situations, which led to lower stress levels. This, in its turn, impacted my physical health. I'm not gonna go into details here, but it was yet another reminder that mind-body connection is not a myth, and taking care of your mental space is as important as taking care of your body. So, on a final note, I think that mindfulness meditation can be one of the tools to help you improve your well-being. At least it did help mine. Taking small steps towards building a happier, more content and compassionate society is a meaningful and beautiful goal that I have. In the description of this video, you'll find a link to a mindfulness meditation guide for beginners. This guide invites you on a 28-day journey of practicing mindfulness and seeing if this new habit benefits you. The new year has just started, and maybe it can be a good reason to try adding something new to your routine if you think that it can benefit you. So let me know your thoughts. Have you ever tried mindfulness meditation? What do you think of it? We'll see each other very soon. Thank you for watching this video.